It's so frustrating how like once you hate something or once you burn out from something, no matter what, you're just like stuck there.
Yeah,
it's like, why do I still feel like I don't have energy? Why do I still hate everyone? Like,
yeah, it's like, damn it, man. Like,
you like wake up one morning, it's like maybe today's the day I won't be burned out, and then you start
you're just the
walking
Grinch.
around, and you're just the Grinch. You show up to work, it's like, hey, good morning. Fuck you. Oh, damn it, I'm still burned out. Yeah. Do you think it's specific types of things that burn you out, or is it just the workload overall? Because I've heard different things from different people. Some people, they're like, no matter what I do, if the workload gets intense enough, I burn out. But for some people, it's like the specific type of thing.
It might be more type for me.
The type. So like you will feel okay in school, but then the second you try to do photography.
Yeah, because literally for like graphic design, I remember like staying up for like 2-3 days in a row trying to finish one product.
And you felt okay?
And it was fine. Yeah, I was very happy about it. It's more just like when life event comes through, or like someone that you know through a specific medium, right? Like fucks you over, and then you're like, wow, I don't want to do this anymore. Because
yeah. So I listened to a lecture recently, because I'm a nerd, about the mechanics of what burnout is, and one of the things is that one, if things feel unfair when you're doing something, and two, when like the reward that you were getting from an activity suddenly changes, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh, if I'm doing this because it helps me build my relationship with this friend group, and then like you said, like, oh, someone in the friend group fucks you over, now it's like the reason I was doing it, I'm no longer getting that.
I think I was feeling a bit of both, because it was like, wow, like they get to do this, but I can't.
I think comparison also burns people out too.
Yeah, but I think I'm pretty good with that generally, because I grew
Yeah, but
up.
you can't always like you can't just not compare when everyone around you is doing the same thing, right?
I mean, I grew up in my foundations are in fine arts. So we literally have critiques, and I've been like ripped to shreds already before. So like I have like pretty thick skin, but I know a lot of other people are like, oh man, they're so good, I might as well quit.
So if that's not what like burns you out, you feel like
for me it's like life events.
Life events.
Yeah.
Just life event that specifically targets like you doing photography.
That or design, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Design might be just because I've been doing it for like such a long time that now it just feels like I'm a robot, and it doesn't feel as like
boredom you think causes burnout.
Yeah, and I get bored very fast.
So really quick, I want to point out the watch that people have noticed. I've been wearing it pretty much every single day. It's the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra, and it's basically replaced my old running watch. It's made of extremely durable materials and has a really customizable display. It has a heart rate monitor, a mental fatigue monitor, and it runs on Google OS. So it works with the apps on Android and Apple, and it has a really accurate GPS, which is good for timing my 5K runs. It has Gorilla Glass cover that doesn't show fingerprints, a really good battery life, overall pretty solid watch. So check them out. I'm gonna put a link in the description below. Yeah. We talked about this, how we're very much on the ADHD end of the attention spectrum, where I get, no, I totally feel that too. Like to manage burnout, I find it helpful to have like 3 or 4 things that I rotate between.
Yeah.
So that like, okay, as I get bored with one, or like something is starting to feel really dry or stressful, I just go to something else. Over a long period of time, I'm still consistently doing each of them. It's just that I'm doing one intensely, rotate, do another intensely, do a third thing intensely, go back to the first thing.
Yeah, I think that's what I did with like graphic design and photography.
Even now with school and other stuff, right? You can like do school
and other stuff.
And then like if you start burning out on something, you'd be like, oh, but that's okay, because that's not everything, because I can now, this is my thing.
Yeah, I think the reason I'm burning out for graphic design is because I didn't switch to photo during the time that I didn't want to do photo for like a year. And so it's just been always design. Because I didn't switch, it like feels like I've been doing it for such a long time.
I'm just so interested in like what actually burnout is. Why is it that, for example, I keep hearing about like YouTubers and TikTokers and photographers and creative people burning out? I haven't heard of it in my software engineering friends as much, but the workload's way higher.
I think burnout exists in areas where you have to be the one that gives yourself the assignment, if that makes sense. Like you
Gotcha.
have to be the one to, because with software engineering, a lot of the time it's someone coming to you.
Well, I would say I do think that like people in, let's say, software engineering do still have to do that creative problem solving thing.
Yeah.
But the key thing that you mentioned is that like their job is more tightly defined because they were like employed consistently for a specific role. For creative people like designers, photographers, my glass is empty. I have to like hunt down a new thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe like that specifically burns people out more.
I think it depends on the person.
I think it depends on the person too, because I feel like we're like, no matter how much we think like we'd get burned out doing our own thing.
Like I can still do it.
I can still do it. I would not survive a corporate
I can't do that.
a job that feels very like obviously I technically work a corporate job right now, but you know what I mean by corporate, right? I would not fucking survive. Right?
Yeah.
So
I would die.
I would take like manageable burnout in one thing and then do something else, and then like I'd rather.
Yeah.
I think this is my my system where
You're
it's
just like constantly burning out on one thing.
yeah,
and
one
just
thing at a
switching
time.
to the
Yeah,
other.
but that's also how it is, right? It's like I feel like some people describe their work-life balance as like you constantly like increment things until you reach like a happy point where you're satisfied, and then you just stay there. Whereas for me, I like start at 0, go to a fucking billion, and then go back down to 0, and then like find something in between.
Yeah.
And then like get bored and then go back down to 0, and then go. You know what I mean? And
I think I'm the same way.
on average, it's like the same,
Yeah.
right? But I feel like it suits my personality better. And we were talking about that last time about like education.
Yeah.
I think, and how it's very frustrating when people can't really find out what their personality is like because they're kind of pigeonholed. I don't remember where the word pigeonholed came from actually. I don't remember what that means, but it sounded like the right word.
I think that, yeah.
Pigeonholed
sounds
is the right word? Okay, no, but they basically get, there's so many words for this. Bottlenecked.
Like tunnel vision.
into this like schematic of
Yeah.
you have to sit in a chair for 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
doing
you
one
really
thing.
don't.
Right. I mean, I guess in my CS classes, right? Because I majored in CS. My CS classes had some open-ended like, here's a project, figure out how to structure all your files and how to build this thing, right? But it's not nearly the same as, oh, you have to design something from a product perspective, right? Or from a purely creative perspective. Like, hey.
But even then, it's like, even though it's open-ended in terms of open-ended solution, you still already know what the end product will look
That's
like.
true.
Do you know what I mean?
You don't think that a lot of freelance or independent creators still have an end product? Well, I guess.
Yes and no.
It depends,
like,
yeah.
Because it depends on what the client comes to you about. Because if someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I want to sell soap. I'm coming to you for branding for this soap, right?
Oh, yeah. You don't know if it's even like a website. Is it a
then you're
social
like,
media account?
you have to figure out the branding, not even for website, social media, whatever, just pure
what is
brand.
the brand?
Yeah, what is the
yeah,
brand?
yeah.
Because you can make it super like cute. You can make it like scripty, like Etsy kind of vibes, or you can make it like modernized. That's not even talking about like color, typography, what platforms you want to use.
I like this type of stuff so much.
I like it too, but it is very like brain intensive, if that makes sense. Which is what I think causes burnout, especially if you take on like
so maybe
4 at once.
maybe I'll say this.
Shit.
I'll say that we prefer it, but it has to be in smaller doses than you would have a less open-ended project. Would you agree?
Yeah. Or if you had a team to work on it with, then that would definitely help with like workload, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there was a straightforward solution to being burned out, I probably would know it by now, considering how much I've looked into this stuff through other people. But
I mean, for me, I just do something that doesn't like, I try to not think about it, but it's hard.
you just have to do, you can't also just not think about it.
Yeah,
You have
that's
to think
true.
about something, because you're always thinking about something.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't try to think about anything, you're naturally just gonna start thinking about it.
Exactly.
So you have to think about
Especially
something
if you're like
else.
passionate about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to think about something else, which is
I mean, sports is helpful.
sports is that's why I train. That's literally like, if I didn't do Muay Thai, I don't think I would survive making videos for a living, right? Because there's so many
You just
little.
take out your frustration on it.
Yes, because there's so many.
Oh my god.
there's so many things that you can be really neurotic about with making videos, especially if you're ever on camera. If you put something out for a bunch of people, like I could overthink. Do people think that like my stuff is good? Do people like me and whatnot? How am I doing compared to other people? And then like I get the shit kicked out of me in Muay Thai, and it just like turns the volume down on everything else. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck those people. I'm fine. It's like whatever. So yeah, that's why like right now I'm like super fried. I was telling you, I feel very fatigued and very like physically drained, but I'll trade this over the burnout you were talking about any day.
Yeah.